Howdy gang, welcome back to Sunday Coffee, Guitars and Tones. This is a show where we grab our favourite brew, hang out together and talk guitars and tones and all things music. And today I have a fancy cup because somebody had left a message saying, hey, you need to get a really cool cup. So I got a Christmas mug. Yeah. I think they meant like a Van Halen mug or something. But I went on Christmas because it's Christmas today, right? Why not? I should get my Christmas hat and wear it for this episode as well. Maybe not. Anyways, look, I actually screwed up a little bit with my coffee today. It does taste great, by the way. It tastes amazing, but I was making my mocha and I forgot to heat the milk. I usually do that when I make a mocha so that I can melt a little bit more chocolate on the top. So it's a little bit tepid, but it does taste very, very, very good. So that's my coffee story today. I have tepid coffee. Maybe I'll make another cup later on. I'll give myself permission to have a second cup today. Anywho's, Merry Christmas. No, I'm only kidding. So, I hope you guys have all had a really phenomenal week. I actually got back from Birmingham a couple of days ago. Yeah, Birmingham. I love that city. I actually went up there for the Birmingham Guitar Show. And I had fully intended to shoot a bunch of stuff there. Didn't happen. Because I got hanging out with super, super, super cool people. Look, I was actually going up there to meet my very, very good friends, Suk, Dario and Linda from G66. I do a lot of stuff with my fractal stuff and I do stuff for their channel as well. And Suk and I haven't met in person yet. I have met Dario. I met him at Guitar Summit last year. Actually, it was him and Linda. I met both Dario and Linda at Guitar Summit when I went there last year. But Suk and I have spoken so many times and we've been in constant contact and he's an absolute sweetheart. So he'd said to me, hey, are you going to come up to the Birmingham show? And when he asked me last year, I said, you know what, I'm going to come up and, you know, we can hang out. I ended up doing that all day and it was such a blast. There's such lovely, lovely people. I'm so blessed to be working with them and in contact with these guys because they are totally amazing. And I love my fractal gear and there is so much more fractal stuff going on right now. And you'll see some really awesome fractal stuff really soon. And the keen-eyed of you might actually spot something in the studio, maybe, sort of. Because it is visible. I can see it. But anyways, we shall talk about that another time. Today is about Birmingham. Yeah, the great thing when I arrived at Birmingham New Street Station was my wife Bindi and I were walking to our hotel. As soon as we got out the station, we're crossing this bridge and Bindi says to me, look, there's all Ozzy stuff. The bridge was actually painted with murals of Ozzy and Black Sabbath. It was just so awesome, man. That town is Ozzy's town. They have actually made such an effort to let people know that he was the working man's hero in Birmingham. And it was really touching to see that right outside. So rather than it being all about the guitar show, which I will tell you about in a second, it actually turned more about kind of just checking out all the Aussie stuff which was going on in the centre of Birmingham over that weekend. So first, the guitar show, it was amazing to be there and to see that it was sold out. When I actually got there, there was a line which was actually kind of going down the road from where the entrance was and then round the corner as well and then sweeping around as well. And there were so many people. The whole thing was sold out, which was fantastic to see. I will definitely go back there next year because I had a great time kind of just talking to people, catching up with people and stuff. So lots of vendors there, you know, like Marshall Amps were there. There were a bunch of other companies as well who I came across. My friends over at Tone Rider got to see Andy, which was awesome. You know, I met him at Guitar Summit as well, bumped into him. So it was really lovely to see him. And obviously my friends Suk, Dario and Linda were there, so I hung out with them all day. But there were a bunch of YouTubers there as well. Yeah. My buddy Perfecto de Castro had come over from California, and Henning Pauli had come over from Germany as well to be at the Birmingham Guitar Show. It's kind of weird, really. I get it. I get why they came. But yeah, I just didn't expect them to come. But there were a bunch of other YouTubers there as well. Kai Down, he was there as well. Met up with him. Also Steve Cassidy, my buddy. So got to say a quick hello to him as well. And you know, I had my camera in my pocket, but like I said, I just ended up hanging out with people and then just going and seeing a bunch of people who I know and catching up with them. The really great thing, though, that happened at the show was I was hanging out with Suk, Dario and Linda, and a guy came up to me and he said, "Hey, we met years ago, and I just wanted to say hello. You know, I follow your channel and stuff." And there were a few people who did that, but this one was pretty special because he said, "I actually met you at one of the Birmingham Guitar Shows." Now, the only other Birmingham Guitar Show I have ever done is in 2002. Yeah. And that was at the NEC in Birmingham, which was an enormous kind of, just a hangar. It's kind of like NAMM-sized thing. Now it's smaller. But yeah, I met up with Matthew. He remembered me from, like, what's that, 24 years ago? Holy crap. That's a long time ago. It was so good to actually meet somebody who I had met all that time back. That was kind of mind-blowing. So talked to him for a while and caught up and got a picture with him as well. And then I was walking around and somebody had said hi to me, and I kind of recognized him from somewhere, but I couldn't place it. And then I went back and I spoke to him, and I remembered it was actually Aaron from Sound Technology. Aaron and I used to be in constant contact when I had my endorsement with Randall Amplifiers all those years ago. Yeah. And I haven't seen him since 2009 when I toured. Yeah. He'd come along to one of the shows because I was using the Randall, and Firewind was actually one of the acts on the tour as well. I was playing with a band called Eden's Curse. And he'd come along to see Gus G and also Bob, who were both using Randall amps at the time. So he'd come to actually just meet up with them. And I was at the show, obviously, you know, first show, which was in Wolverhampton, I believe. And yeah, we'd caught up then, and that was the last time I saw him. And we'd spoken on the phone a few times afterwards, and then the Randall thing kind of just fizzled out because it went to a different distributor, or I don't even know if Randall Amps is a thing now. So that was absolutely wonderful. It was really, really awesome to see those people and to hang out with my friends. That's what was really special about it. Yeah, the gear's awesome to see, and there was some really great stuff. I actually caught up with the guy at Spir Guitars, and yeah, I spoke to him for a while. Those guitars are insanely good. I had a quick kind of browse with, you know, and picked one or two of the guitars up, and man, they felt so great. It was interesting talking to him as well, because he was saying that they are really hot on their QC for the guitars, and it's the consistency happens because they have a couple of people doing that at the factory in the Far East and stuff, which was fabulous to see, because, you know, the guitars kind of, you know, the quality of the guitars just spoke for itself. As soon as I picked it up, it was like, wow, this is a really nice guitar. So maybe things will happen with them at some point in time. Let me know if you'd like to see Spir guitar on the channel at some point. Alrighty, so Birmingham and Ozzy. You know, we got there on Friday afternoon, and my wife Binny and I were walking around, and we're walking towards the museum, which was literally just 5 minutes away from our hotel in the centre of town. And there was a big kind of billboard there which actually had Ozzy on it and Working Man's Hero, and they had an exhibition there at the museum. So Bindi said, do you want to go and see it? It's free, so we can go and see it if you want. And I was like, yeah, sure, let's go and see it. So we went into the museum, and they had this huge corridor where they had a bunch of Ozzy stuff. And it was like all of his discs, his gold discs and his platinum discs and photos and memorabilia and awards and stuff like that. And it was just so fascinating to look at. And also, it was wonderful to see them celebrating Ozzy Osbourne, because he was one of the heroes of the town. He was one of the success stories. And until you actually experience that, you don't realize just how much of an impact he had. Obviously, the other guys in Black Sabbath as well. You know, Tony Iommi, I believe, still lives around the periphery of Birmingham and stuff. And, you know, Ozzy did as well when he lived in the UK, I think. I don't know, I might be talking complete crap about that, but I'd like to think that he did. But it was absolutely phenomenal to see. And it was really touching as well, because you could see how much love the city had for Ozzy Osbourne, not just because of his music, but because of the person as well. He was just a regular guy, and he was a regular guy from Birmingham, from Aston Park, I believe, right? And he made it as the biggest rock star on the planet, which was absolutely insane and wonderful, and they really are celebrating it. So we looked around there. There was a room there as well where they were playing some videos, and there was music videos which Ozzy had done. So we sat there for a little while, and then it hit 5 o'clock, so we had to skedoodle out of the museum and stuff. But before we left the museum, I did get myself a souvenir. Yeah, let me show you. I need to put my coffee down first, all right? So usually when you think about souvenirs, you think, souvenirs, right? Which I did get. You know what? When in Birmingham, you've got to buy some Ozzy Osbourne music. There were a few CDs I didn't have, and I'm ashamed to say I've never owned this CD before. Look, I said it, I'm ashamed that I have not owned this before, but I do now, all right? I'm going to listen to it. But no. Those were a different souvenir. Let me show you. You know, I had to buy this as soon as I saw it, because yep, it's a proper Ozzy Osbourne bat, if I can put the head back on. I saw this plushie at the gift shop in the museum, and I was looking at it. I was like, there's a little bit of red around there. And I kind of like picked it up, and I was like, I know exactly what that does. So I went up to my wife and I said, hey, check this out. It's just the coolest thing. And it says Ozzy Osbourne on there as well. This is going to take pride of place somewhere in my studio. I'm actually going to kind of just hang it up, actually, I think on the back wall. What do you reckon? So that is above the picture of like Hendrix back there. You can just see about his head, right? There's Jimmy's head there. What about just up there? Yeah, I could pin it, you know, via the wings and have it up there. Now, the question is, head on or head off? Head on or head off? I think head on. But what a great souvenir they did. I mean, this is just too cool for school, man. Yeah, and as soon as, like I said, as soon as I realized that the head came off, it was like instant purchase. Just the most awesome thing. Anyways, there you go. Batty Bat is going to stay in the studio from now on. So there are some other sites which you can visit in Birmingham, which are kind of, you know, tributes to Ozzy as well. There's the bridge where they have the bench, and that was literally just a few minutes away from the hotel I stayed at as well. So went and visited that. And there are some other places like the pub. You can actually go up to Aston as well, which is not too far away. It's about a 20-minute drive away from the centre of town. Didn't go there this time, but you know, maybe I'll do that next time. I want to go back to Birmingham and explore some more. But what a fantastic city. It was really cool. And, you know, we were walking around and came across a huge HMV. And, you know, as soon as we walked in, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go and buy a bunch of Ozzy CDs because there's a bunch which I don't have. Yeah, I know. Bad me. I should have had these for years, but you know, I've listened to the songs on like YouTube and stuff, but I just haven't bought the CDs for whatever reason. And for one reason or another, I didn't really kind of like get into Ozzy when I was learning guitar. But his music's just fantastic, you know, especially albums like this one, Osmosis, you know, Perry Mason. What a fantastic song on there. And what's this one? This is actually one of the more recent ones. And let's see, No More Tears as well. Never had a copy of No More Tears. All right, I should stop saying that because, yeah, I should just stop saying that. So that was my trip to Birmingham. It was amazing. I also met up with some awesome friends and spent an evening with them. My wife and I did. We know people up there. So that was just a wonderful trip. And the food there, they've got so many great restaurants, especially Indian restaurants. I want to do an Indian food tour of Birmingham at some stage. If anyone would like to join me, let me know, because I think we should do that. We should do a rock and roll kind of Indian food tour of Birmingham. Go and check out all of the Ozzy Osbourne sites, even more than I did this time. And also go and eat some really great food. What do you reckon? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Who'd want to come along to that? I think that'd be a really great trip, right? And you know, walking around town, you do realize just how much kind of Ozzy was revered there. And it really touched my heart. Honestly did. I didn't realize. But when I went there, man, it is so abundantly clear just how much they loved him. Rightfully so. So, cheers. Cheers, Ozzy. From Ozzy the Bat as well. Yeah. Cheers, dude. I know you're rocking heaven with all those amazing rock stars up there, especially Randy. Yeah. So, there you go. That was my trip. I don't want to kind of throw Ozzy the Bat away. It fell to the floor. Anyhow, if you guys are in Birmingham at any stage, go and see that. I think it's still around for a month or two. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember what the end date is, but we managed to catch it. And I'm really grateful that I did. Oh, and another thing. I want to say a huge thank you to my very good friend Rich Beardsley, who sent me the pickup in this guitar. Yeah, Frankie has a new pickup in it. This is a Pariah Pasadena white pickup. I've never had the white pickup. I've had the Pasadena black. But he very kindly sent me this because he wasn't using it. And he said, dude, I think you could use this. So I'm just going to send it to you. He's such a good friend. Thank you so much, Rich. I so appreciate it, man. Love the sound of this. I've just finished recording the next episode of Decoding EVH, which you guys will see in a couple days' time with this pickup. This is a PAF style pickup. So very kind of like, you know, right for the era. And probably what was in Eddie's guitar at the time. It just sounds awesome, especially through the rig that you will see on Tuesday. So tune in for that. But thank you, my friend. I so appreciate it. I love the sound of this pickup, and it's going to live in Frankie from now on. Yay! Alrighty, guys and girls, that will do it from now. So from me and Ozzy the Bat, have a wonderful Sunday. Yeah. Next time you visit, he might be hanging up somewhere on the wall. Yeah. See if you can spot him next time. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your coffee, and I'll see you soon with another one. Bye for now.